Aumakua. Some sharks in Hawaiian belief weren't feared because they were monsters, they were feared because they might actually be family. An Aumakua is a deified ancestor who continues to protect descendants after their death. These guardians can appear through living forms: a shark cutting through coastal water, an eel beneath the surface, an owl watching at night, or a lizard crossing your path. A shark Aumakua is not just an ocean predator, it is actually an ancestor tied to a family line, still present after their death, still watching those who remember the old obligations. This is why the taboo is so intimate. Descendants must not harm, kill, or eat the shark connected to their lineage. The animal isn't treated as just a symbol of the ancestor, it is the ancestor's presence made visible in physical form. To strike it or harm it is not just to break a rule, it's to turn against your own blood. The punishment for going against this taboo doesn't need thunder or spectacle, it's just that the protection begins to fade. Illness might arrive without a clear cause, your luck might sour, a person who once felt guarded near the sea might feel suddenly exposed in the same waters. The shark doesn't even have to attack, the water only has to feel empty of help. The real fear is what happens when it no longer protects you. Mami Wata. The danger of Mami Wata doesn't always begin with a scream from the water, it can begin with a gift. Across West and Central African traditions, Mami Wata appears as a powerful water spirit connected to rivers, coasts, beauty, wealth, healing, desire, serpents, and the hidden world beneath the surface. She's not one fixed creature. To some, she arrives with gifts. To others, she appears as temptation. To some others, she brings healing. And to some others as well, she becomes a force that takes hold of the mind and controls them. One story can feel like a blessing, another like obsession, and another like a curse, because her power changes with the bond formed around her. The taboo in this case is betrayal. Encounters with Mami Wata are often understood as spiritual contracts. A person who receives favor, protection, or prosperity, or even power is expected to keep offerings, vows, and respect. The forbidden act is not simply walking near the wrong water or doing a single act, it's accepting what the spirit gives, then breaking the rule that came with it. The gift is never truly separate from the obligation. When that bond collapses, the punishment turns inward. Thoughts may become obsessive, peace can vanish, relationships may fracture, wealth can disappear as suddenly as it arrived, health might decline without a simple reason. The punishment is not going to come from a wave of water or anything, it might just come as the slow collapse of the life that she once blessed until the person can't tell where devotion ends and punishment begins. Dakuwaqa. A fisherman doesn't have to see Dakuwaqa for the warning to matter. The sea itself is already the warning. In Fijian tradition, Dakuwaqa is a feared shark deity, a ruler and enforcer of the ocean. Unlike an ancestor tied to one family, Dakuwaqa represents a wider marine power. He's often imagined as a massive shark spirit, intelligent enough to judge arrogance on the water and strong enough to punish it. His taboo is disrespect towards the sea. Overfishing, waste, greed, and treating the ocean as something to dominate are forbidden. Fishermen and sailors are expected to approach the water with humility because the sea is not just empty space, it is watched by a greater power. If the taboo is broken, the punishment is not quiet. A calm voyage can become panic, a boat can become prey, nets can feel like evidence. A careless voyage can suddenly become a trial with no judge in sight. Fishermen might just vanish into the water that had seemed ordinary moments before. The offender doesn't simply lose luck or peace of mind. At that point, the ocean is no longer water beneath the boat, it is a mouth full of danger waiting beneath them. Moʻo. There are waters that you don't enter because a sign tells you not to. In Hawaiian stories of Moʻo, the sign might not be wood or stone, it might just be the creature waiting inside that you already know of. The Moʻo are powerful water guardian spirits, often described as dragon-like lizards or serpentine beings connected to pools, streams, wetlands, and coastal inlets. They belong to a place, and that place is part of their power. A still pool, a shaded stream, or a quiet inlet can be kapu, spiritually restricted, dangerous, and guarded by a Moʻo. The taboo is trespass. Taking resources, disturbing sacred water, entering forbidden pools, or treating a claimed place as ordinary can be a direct violation. The Moʻo doesn't need to explain the rule to you, there might be no warning and no second chance. The boundary itself is the rule, and crossing it can be dangerous. The consequence is immediate and final. A person might drown suddenly, or disappear, or die in a way that feels as if the water itself closed over them. This is not the slow misfortune of some deities or spirits, it is removal. The horror is quiet and waiting until it's not. Some waters do not warn twice. You cross the line, and the pool keeps what enters it. Taniwha. A Taniwha can protect a people. That is what makes it frightening when the relationship between them breaks. In Maori tradition, Taniwha are powerful beings of rivers, lakes, caves, and coastal waters. Some are guardian spirits connected to a tribe or place. Others are dangerous forces that punish violation. This isn't a uniform type of monster or category of monsters. One may be remembered in the bend of a river. One might be tied to a lake, a cave, a coastline, or a warning passed down through generations. A Taniwha might be remembered not only as a random creature, but as the reason a place must be approached very carefully. The taboo in this case is communal responsibility. A forbidden waterway or sacred zone can't be treated as a personal challenge. Ignoring the warnings, entering these restricted places, or violating tapu can endanger more than the individual who crossed the line. In this kind of taboo, one person doesn't own the risk alone, the entire community does. That is where the fear expands. If this taboo is violated, canoes might overturn, random people might drown, floodwater might rise and damage the homes, paths, and settlements of the community. The punishment can even move from one body to many lives. The terror is not that one person treated a sacred warning like a dare, it's that everyone has to pay for it. Mishipeshu. Mishipeshu doesn't guard any ordinary treasure, it guards in general what humans aren't supposed to take. Known as the underwater panther, Mishipeshu belongs to the spiritual traditions of the indigenous peoples of the Great Lakes region, especially Ojibwe and related communities. It combines the force of a great feline with aquatic and serpentine features. Imagine claws beneath deep water, a predator's body moving where no land animal could be, and a sacred wealth lying under its control. It's not the shrine of the resource that matters most, but the danger and temptation of reaching for it. The taboo centers on the extraction of that resource. Copper and other valuable materials connected to certain waters weren't merely useful objects. They carried spiritual risks, as if they still belonged beneath the waves, and taking them out without permission, or any kind of ritual respect, or without respecting the balance was theft from a protected realm and would be punished. The frightening part of this is that the punishment might not end with just the thief themselves, too. Mishipeshu can bring drowning, sudden disaster, mental unraveling, and misfortune that follows a family beyond the first offense. What was stolen from the water can't be returned cleanly either. Some things taken from the deep do not stay stolen. They might follow the thief home, turning the stolen object into a sign that the water has not forgotten what they've done. Sedna. Sedna doesn't need to chase anyone. She can make the ocean stop feeding them. In Inuit belief, Sedna is the supreme spiritual authority over the animals of the ocean. Seals, whales, walruses, fish, and other marine life remain under her control. For Arctic communities, this makes her power existential. Survival depends on whether the ocean continues to release life to them. The taboo is tied to hunting law, ritual purity, and moral order. Animals have to be treated properly after death. Meat must not be wasted. Tools, rules, and rituals must be handled with respect. Human conduct really matters here because the relationship between hunters and the sea is not only practical, it's spiritual, fragile, and tied to survival. When Sedna is angered, the punishment is withholding of life. Hunters return empty-handed, the sea becomes silent, animals remain trapped beneath the water, and the community begins to starve. No monsters need to rise from the waves. If Sedna closes her hand, the hunters will come back with nothing, and the community will not have anything to live on. The sea doesn't need to roar or have sharp fangs or anything, it only has to stop answering for it to be dangerous. Nuckelavee. Some beings are avoided because they punish, and it's too dangerous to get close to them. The Nuckelavee is avoided because its presence is already ruin. In the folklore of Orkney, the Nuckelavee is a sea demon associated with destruction, disease, failed crops, and death. It's not a guardian of anything, or someone's ancestor, or a spirit enforcing balance. It is just a force of pollution and devastation. The kind of horror that doesn't arrive to teach a lesson or anything like that. It is just destructive. That's it. fields wither, sickness spreads, the air itself seems poisoned by something that should never have come to our mortal realm. The taboo is language and exposure. Speaking of the Nuckelavee, invoking it or drawing its attention is forbidden because there's no ordinary bargain to even make with it. Oops, I hope that making this doesn't actually harm me in any way. Anyway, no kind of offering will restore trust in this case. No respectful conduct turns it into a predator. The safest rule is distance, silence, and avoidance at all costs. Speech itself becomes a door that should stay closed. The consequence in this case is total contamination. The damage itself doesn't stay neatly attached to the person who broke the rule, it moves outward like plague, poisoning land, body, and community altogether. This is not a creature you defeat. It is one that you survive or not, but you never call it close, you never try to get on its bad side, because once it's near, there might be no clean world left to return to. Alright y'all, let us know what you think about these interesting topics down in the comments down below, and hey, let us know about any topics you want us to cover next. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.